China's inventions and their impact on the modern world. Chinese inventions. Many of the modern technologies we use today are credited to the West and Renaissance era inventors, but few people are aware that ancient China produced just as many, if not more, inventions that are crucial to modern society. These include China's four great inventions. The printing press, gunpowder, paper making, and compass were all invented and used in China in their earliest forms. The compass. Around the 2nd century BCE, during the Han Dynasty, a compass was developed in ancient China. Instead of being utilized for navigation, it was initially used as a divination instrument. The development of the compass, which offered a trustworthy way to determine direction at sea, revolutionized marine navigation. As a result, sailors could engage in long-distance trade and explore new lands, which helped China establish its naval superiority during the Tang and Song dynasties. A lodestone magnetic spoon that aligned with the magnetic field of the Earth and served as the foundation for the Chinese compass. The dissemination of this primitive compass design to other parts of the world later influenced growth of navigational skills everywhere. Western comparison, the astrolabe. Greek astronomer Hipparchus, or one of his contemporaries, Apollonius or Perga, is credited with creating the astrolabe in ancient Greece sometime around the 2nd century BCE. Its original purpose was to measure the location of celestial bodies as an astronomy instrument. During the Islamic Golden Age, academics like al-Battani and al-Zaghari worked hard to advance the astrolabe. They enhanced its features and improved its design, turning it into a flexible astronomical and navigational tool. With the use of the astrolabe, astronomers and navigators could calculate the height and azimuth of celestial objects such as the sun and stars in relation to the observer's location on Earth. With the use of this knowledge, astronomical computations, timekeeping, and celestial navigation were made easier, making the astrolabe an indispensable tool for millennia throughout several cultures and civilizations. Papermaking. Around the 2nd century BCE, under the Han Dynasty, papermaking was developed in ancient China. Kai Lun, a government official, is credited with creating the process for making paper by pulping plant fibers like mulberry and hemp and shaping them into sheets. The development of paper changed record keeping, education, and communication. Writing became lighter and more inexpensive as it took the place of bulkier and less practical materials like silk and bamboo strips. The broad accessibility of paper facilitated the growth of bureaucracy, the dissemination of information, the creation of literature, and the invention of printing. Western comparison, the computer. When important developments in electronic technology and computing theory first appeared in the middle of the 20th century, the first computers were created. The theoretical underpinnings of computer science and architecture were developed in large part due to the contribution of pioneers like Alan Turing, John von Neumann, and others. The electronic numerical integrator and computer, also known as the first entirely electronic general-purpose computer, was created in 1946. It was a significant leap in computer engineering and opened the way for later developments in hardware and software that have influenced the state of computing today. Gunpowder. Gunpowder, sometimes referred to as black powder, was created in ancient China somewhere around the 9th century CE. It is believed that Chinese alchemists who were looking for an immortality elixir were responsible. The development of gunpowder transformed warfare and had significant effects on military technology. Gunpowder was first employed for magical and therapeutic uses before its explosive characteristics were harnessed for use in military equipment, including guns, cannons, and explosives. Through trading networks, the discovery and widespread usage of gunpowder later expanded from China to other regions of the world. Its influence on combat and ensuring growth of weapons changed military tactics and had a huge impact on world history. Western comparison, guns. The development of weapons as we know them now began in Europe during the 14th century. The hand cannon, a basic weapon made of a tube attached to a handle, was the first handheld weapon that was ever discovered. By giving soldiers a weapon that was more effective and potent than earlier weapons like bows and arrows, the invention of guns transformed combat. Due to the greater firepower provided by guns, infantry tactics and the nature of fights were significantly altered. With the development of gun technology over time, more complex weapons like muskets and rifles were created. These developments further altered warfare, influencing the emergence of modern armies and changing the course of history. Printing press. A commoner named Bi Sheng is credited with creating movable type printing in China during the Song dynasty in the 11th century. He came up with a way to make clay figures that could be printed individually. The printing press was created in Europe by Johannes Gutenberg several centuries after Bishoing's invention of a movable type in China. The Chinese approach, meanwhile, did not have a significant or long-lasting influence. Movable type printing's creation had a huge impact on the development of printing technology, although having very little impact in China. It demonstrated the idea of characters that could be individually moved about, forecasting the development of printing presses and ultimate globalization of the printing business. Western comparison, the Gutenberg printing press. Johannes Gutenberg created the Gutenberg printing press in Germany in the middle of the 15th century. With the help of Gutenberg's innovation, which included movable metal type, ink made of oil, and a wooden press, printed goods could be produced in large quantities. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg, transformed how knowledge was shared and had a major influence on society. It made it possible for books, pamphlets, and other printed materials to be produced effectively, increasing public access to them. The Renaissance, Reformation, and the dissemination of ideas throughout the Enlightenment were all greatly influenced by the Gutenberg printing press. It laid the groundwork for the modern printing industry and the information age by facilitating information sharing, accelerating the spread of reading, and democratizing knowledge. And references. Thank you.